All right, 21 minutes after the hour. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. Always a delight to be with you today as Sherry. And, of course, you are more than welcome to join us coming up this weekend. Blessed Andre Bessette, a powerful intercessor, a man who understood the silent power of St. Joseph and who led many people to him. St. Joseph, of course, a great intercessor, brings about very prompt answers to prayers. Well, Blessed Andre is the same. Soon we'll be calling him St. Andre as his canonization takes place this week. And joining me today, actually from the beautiful country of Canada, is the founder and the executive director of the Edmund Burke Institute. That's a Washington-based think tank. Regular friend of the show here, Dr. Grace Vuoto. Hey, doctor, welcome. How's it up there in Canada today?
Well, it's a beautiful fall day. All the leaves are changing color. We have streams of people driving up to the Laurentians to see this wonderful, change of the colors. It's beautiful, a little bit cold, and we're here very excited about the pending canonization, which is going to take place on Sunday. In fact, I'm here to mark this great event in North America.
So it's the 17th, and not Saturday, but Sunday the 17th.
That's correct, Sunday the 17th.
Tell me a little bit about Blessed Andre Bessette before we talk about anything else, because he was an incredibly humble man, but a powerful intercessor, and a great confessor, and just a holy man of God.
Yes, well, Blessed Brother Andre was a man of really humble origins. He grew up in dire poverty. He was orphaned by the age of 12, having lost both parents, and he was essentially uneducated and unskilled. What made him a really fascinating figure was his intense spirituality, and he developed in particular a remarkable devotion to St. Joseph. Perhaps it's very much because he was an orphan himself that he understood the authoritative, familiar figure of St. Joseph so well. He developed this incredible devotion, so much so that amongst all the individuals that he would meet, he would recommend to them to worship St. Joseph. He became a brother. He did take the holy orders, and ultimately he devoted his life to his order, as well as to trying to establish a place of worship, a place where St. Joseph could be worshipped. And in fact, it was as a result of his vision that the beautiful oratory of St. Joseph here in Montreal, which sits on top of a mountain, it was built as a result of his good work and as a result of his vision. And that oratory today is really stunning. It is the largest basilica in Canada. It sits on a hilltop, as I said, and one can see it from miles and miles away, wherever you are in the city, as really a beacon of light and a beacon of so much beauty.
I love his story because in great humility, God can use anybody to accomplish great works. Whoever thought that the largest basilica in all of Canada, right, is this basilica here, would be built by this humble, uneducated man. My understanding was that he was a doorkeeper most of his life. Was that the case? I remember one quote. He says, when I entered the community, my superior showed me the door, and I remained there 40 years without leaving. So we can achieve great holiness even in the very simple and humble things of life, too, can't we?
Absolutely right. He had a very ordinary task, as you say, as a doorkeeper. He was, as I said, completely uneducated, and yet he became associated with numerous miraculous healings. And it is really as a result of those miraculous healings that he is going to be canonized on Sunday. Apparently, thousands of people who came to see him asking for help, people that were ill, were somehow cured as a result of his intercession while he was living. And he would deny that he had anything to do with it. However, those who had been healed insisted that it was really as a result of his work. And so one of the most stunning things that anyone will see at St. Joseph's Oratory, there's a wall in which there are literally hundreds of crutches and wheelchairs. It's extremely moving, of all those people who were magically cured as a result of their interaction with Brother Andre, Blessed Brother.
Hey, Grace, tell me, maybe you don't know, but what was the miracle that led to his canonization? Do you know?
There was one other miracle where a man who was afflicted with miraculously cured, and that was the final one in which...
I'm sorry, you faded out for a second there. What was he afflicted with?
A a man who was afflicted with cancer.
Cancer, wow.
Yes, as a result of the intercession of Brother Andre, that was the final miracle that was needed, and as a result of that, Pope John Paul II put forward the motion for him to be beatified.
That's amazing. So his canonization is this Sunday, and he really is a model for all of us. And that's what I love about men like Colby, like Blessed Bessette or Saint Bessette, like so many others who are real men who are willing to stand up for their faith, and even lay their life down in some cases for it as well. We live in an interesting time right now where I personally believe that there's a great emasculization of the man in our culture. I mean, you turn on your mainstream television at night and you watch any of these cartoons, and the father's always made out to look like he's some sort of idiot. Even some of the the sitcoms and comedies are the same way. Men look at religion today like it's a feminine thing, like it's reserved for women only. Share with me a little bit, if you could, Grace, what we're seeing here right now, and why perhaps Blessed Andre and Saint Joseph, who we had such profound devotion to, can lead us out of this current confusion.
Drew, I think one of the most devastating aspects of the current culture war has been the decapitation of the head of our families and the head of our societies, essentially, which is the male figure. Previously, it was the man who had a very carefully defined role as the head of the family and the head of the body politic. What we saw throughout the 19th and extremely, very much so within the 20th century, was a feminist movement that instead of simply advocating for individual rights, it became really radicalized to the point where feminists sought to create a gender-neutral society. And in attempting to create a gender-neutral society, what they were trying to do was to feminize the male or make him so innocuous, so inoffensive, so that the female could triumph in some way, or the female could be liberated according to their lights. But in reality, what we see is men who are completely adrift. They're really quite lost. And that is the sad, sad legacy of the feminist movement. You see, the feminist movement, it could have focused exclusively in the liberal tradition, the old-fashioned European liberal tradition of allowing for individual rights to triumph. That is to say, give women legal powers, allow them to be educated, give them their full voting rights. It could have been based simply on rights, and that, I think, many of us would agree was a very wholesome way to go. Mm-hmm. Yet what many of the modern feminists did was they borrowed ideas from individuals like Friedrich Nietzsche and Karl Marx, mm-hmm. and they radicalized the movement to the point that the primary objective is to dismantle the male role. And as a result, we now have families that are in many ways adrift or absolutely broken, and in tandem with that, our own Western civilization is clearly in decline.
My guest today, Dr. Grace Vuoto. We're going to take a quick break, Grace, because I'm up against the clock, and we'll take calls as well if you want to join us. Feel free to dial in at 877-ROME 777, 877-ROME 777. Just a point of clarification, too, on Dr. Vuoto's comments. I know, Grace, you've often said that a few times that we kind of worship St. Joseph just in terms of Catholic teaching, of course. It's probably a slip of the tongue. And I know a lot of Catholic haters hate because they tend to think that we worship saints. That's not the case. We venerate. We honor St. Joseph. We don't worship him. Worship's reserved for God alone. And, of course, Blessed Andre, of course, great devotion to St. Joseph. Didn't worship him, certainly venerated and honored him. And we're called to do the same. We'll be back with more. Don't go away.